My name is Rachel. I came here today to share my own personal story about how Bat Melech saved my life. When I was 18 years old, my family made a shidduch for me. The man they made a shidduch with seemed to be nice, charming, sweet. When we were in the beginning of our marriage, the abuse began. It was not all of a sudden and at once, but progressively became more and more severe. Emotionally, he tortured me and made me feel that I deserved this. After having my first child, I became pregnant again. At that point, the abuse had become so severe that I began to bleed. And I knew that it was directly connected because every time he would hit me or scream at me, I would curl up in fear. I came to him and I begged him to stop for the sake of his child, my child, but he didn't. 2 months in, I miscarried the baby. I remember going to the bedroom directly after it had happened, and I was shaking and crying. I could talk to no one. He had distanced me from all my family. There was no one to go to, no one to talk to. He didn't even allow me painkillers. And I cried and I shook, and he came into the room and he screamed at me and he said, "Why are you crying? Why? Why?" He said, "This is your fault. You brought this on yourself. You did this to yourself." And I screamed and I cried, "Leave me alone, please leave me alone." And he didn't. And he beat me and beat me and beat me. So when he would punch me in one eye, I would cover up the other one with purple eyeshadow, making sure nobody ever knew. I was now his accomplice. One day, when I was looking for my son, I found him outside on the balcony, and half his body was over the balcony, and he was about to jump, and I went to him and I screamed and I pulled him back and I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he said to me, "Ima, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this world. There's always fighting." And at that point, I felt myself jolted into reality. And I realized I had been protecting him from someone else this whole time. But now it had gotten to such a point to where I couldn't protect him from himself. But I realized I couldn't go on like this. Even if I was to blame, I needed to get him out of this environment. It didn't matter. And at that point, something inside of me just broke. Something inside of me died. And I no longer cared about him, cared what he said. It's as if the control he once had over me was no longer there. I started to talk to my siblings. I started to tell them. They had no idea what horrible abuse I was going through. They didn't know that he cut me off from them. They thought it was me. And they helped me to find the connections that I needed in order to leave. And they helped me to find Bat Melech Shelter. Bat Melech Shelter organized for a taxi to come. And I quickly packed a little bag. I got my kids ready. And I had to put on a big smile and I told my kids, "We're going on a trip. We're going on summer vacation." Inside I was shaking. I didn't know where I was going. As we got into the taxi, I said to myself, what's going to be? The taxi ride seemed to be one of the longest rides of my life. It was like going through this dark tunnel. You don't know if there's going to be light at the other side. We got to the shelter, and it was that safe haven. I remember walking in and being surrounded by warmth and light. At that point, living in Bat Melech Shelter, I began to learn, with their help, of my different rights and how to go about becoming an independent woman and reclaiming who I once was. And they helped me to open a bank account, something so basic that I had not known how to do, going from my parents' house to my husband's house. They helped me to find the different governmental offices. They helped me to find a job, to start working. Me and my children got therapy. And the incredible difference that came over my children, my son and my children began to heal. I even remember one time coming to my son and seeing him sit there, and he's sitting there like this. You can see he's thinking and he's angry and he has a lot going on inside. And I said to him, "What's going on? Is everything okay?" And he said to me with such determination and such self-confidence, "Ima, if he ever tries to hurt me again, I can fight back." And after 7 months of being in the shelter, me and my children left, and we began a new life. The person that came into the shelter and the person that left were two completely different people. The person who came in was a shattered, crushed shadow of herself. And the person who left was confident, knew what she deserved. She had strength, she had power, and she was going to go. And I am here making a beautiful, strong, healthy life for me and my children. I hope this message is one that will bring courage and hope to other women out there, other women who are suffering like I suffered, and to know that there is light at the end of that dark tunnel, that there is where to go. There's an address. You don't have to be alone anymore. And I just am so grateful to Bat Melech for everything that they've done for me and my children, from bringing us out of a life of cruelty, fear, and torture into this beautiful life that I now live.